grandparents. I'm originally from Liverpool, been in Australia for just on 20 years. My grandparents originally were from Ireland, and my grandfather used to give me some amazing tips. The first tip he ever gave me when I was 7, he said to me, "Son, when you grow up, make sure you marry a girl with very small hands." I said, "Why is that, Grandad?" He said, "It'll make your cock look bigger, son." Thanks for that, Grandad. Never waste an erection or ignore a fart, which was something else that I kind of took on board. I remember one time my grandfather got quite sick, and before my nan had to take him off to the doctors, and my grandfather being a little bit hard of hearing, the doctor came out and he said to me, "Grandad," he said, "we're going to need a stool sample and we're going to need a urine sample." So he turned to me now and he said, "What did the man say?" He said he wants a pair of your underpants. And I think it was from that my grandmother kind of developed a bit of a phobia about wearing underpants after my grandfather soiling himself quite regularly. And we went off to see my nan this particular day, and we're sitting there watching the telly, and my grandmother's sitting opposite. And unfortunately her skirt had hitched up. So we're sitting there looking at the telly, and my grandfather came in and he seen what we were looking at, and he says, Mary, pull your skirt up, the KIDS can see your cunt." I think the theme of being quite witty goes through the whole family, because my father could say anything and he'd make us laugh, I remember me and my family sitting around, and my father was reading out of a phone book, and it was absolutely hilarious. Now admittedly, he did have his cock out at the time, and had he not had his cock out, it probably wouldn't have been that funny. But nevertheless, and I came from a family with a few sisters, and my sisters used to always tease me. They were quite good with poets, quite good with poetry, and they'd say things like, "Neil, Neil, orange peel," or "Neil, Neil, you fat little fucker, why don't you go off and die?" They weren't very good poets, now I'm thinking about it. The poetry wasn't their main thing. The weirdest thing that my sisters used to say to me, they'd look at me and they'd say, "You fat little fuck, you're a doctor, you fat little fuck, you're a doctor." I remember it used to really upset me, and I remember crying, and my dad come over to me. I said, "Dad, they're telling me I'm adopted." He said, "You're not adopted, son! You're my wicked boy! Take no notice of Ling Chong! She's my little fucker!" I think I'm one of them people, I developed quite late in life, and I actually didn't leave college until I was probably about 28, 29 years of age. And it was a reason behind it. My mother actually got quite sick. I can hear it all going, she got to a point where she couldn't clean, she couldn't wash, she couldn't iron. So I thought, fuck this. So I decided to make the big journey and come across to Australia, and I landed here, and quite quickly I found out that some words in Liverpool mean quite different to what they do in Australia. No thongs. In Liverpool, a thong is something that a girl wears to floss herself or to get you going. And I walked into this pub and I saw this sign, no thongs. I thought, this is going to be fucking great. So I walked into the pub, with a t-shirt and a pair of flip-flops. And the fellow said to me, "I'm sorry, no thongs." So I said, "Well, I wasn't even thinking." "What are you talking about? Can't think to take my life." And the other word, which I only found out after having an Australian girlfriend, I had an Australian girlfriend, and I turned up late for the date this day, and she said, "Where have you been?" I said, "Oh, I've just been rooting around for some money." And she slapped me across the face and said, "You dirty bastard." Rooting around for money? Well, I think I've got one of them appearances. I must have one of them genetic faces, because I was actually in Dick Smith's in Chatswood last week, and the guy came up to me and he said, "You're that mad bloke off the telly." And I said, what? He said, you're that mad bloke. Get off the fucking telly. Has anyone of you been to Gosford? Has anyone ever been to Gosford?
Yeah.
What a fucking shithole. What a fucking shithole. I was unfortunate enough to have to go there a couple of weeks ago. And I came up the motorway, went into McDonald's, and I looked around and there's all these fucking faces looking back at you. You know, some of the young kids, they look like they've got so many piercings and fucking rings in their face, they look like they've been in a fishing accident. So I'm looking in there, I walked in, and I thought to myself, I was about to get on the phone and phone Australia's Most Wanted. You know, all of them fucking people you're looking for, they're fucking all here. Bring some guns and dogs and fucking things. Fucking man all looking at you. So, like, there was those, you know, the incredibly attractive girls with the lycra on. You know, the lycra. You let them go with this one. And I've decided that we're not going to call them, you know, the way you've got a MILF. We all know what a MILF is. But these are going to be called mumbles. Because you can see the fucking lips move. You don't hear a sound. That was courtesy of Glenn. So anyway, while I was in Gosford, I went across to David Jones, and there was a couple of these mumbles having a little spray of the perfume. Fucking, what's this one smell like? You know, fucking have a go in there. And he read the bottle, and it says, "Oh look, Vian et moi," she says, as she has a little sniff. And the girl behind the counter was obviously from Woy and a little bit posher. She says, "Oh, it's actually French, girls. It's come to me." So she has another spray and she goes, "Fuck, it doesn't smell like come to me." And I think that's the end of my gig, so thank you very much.